This is him describing what he wants to do, and I want you to listen to some of the stuff that he says concerning Easter Sunday and why he wants to change it up in the way that he did.
So I'm not going to start this year. We need to come up with an Easter play. And they was like, all right, let's do it. I said, but it can't be no whack, raggedy. He got up. Like, it just cannot be that. Okay, y'all gonna act like I'm the only one that saw like, oh, yay. That was good. Like, I was like, it's gotta move people. And I really wanted to be focused on people who don't know God or are far from him.
Just want to say one thing. The first thing that he says is, I really don't want it to be about the fact that he rose from the dead. Like, dude, that is the whole point.
He said he doesn't want it to be a whack form.
Huh?
He doesn't want it to be whack.
Yeah, he doesn't want it to be whack, and he doesn't just want it to be about him just raising from the dead. Which is what, you talk about when it comes to Easter Sunday.
But Manny, I mean, he
doesn't want to go over the resurrection.
I don't know, bro. No, I mean, he might want to go over the resurrection. I think what he just wants to do, he doesn't want to do the basic, boring Easter service that multiple people do. Maybe.
It's kind of so. Here's the thing, right? Let's say, you know what, Anderson, for your birthday this year, I don't want to just like celebrate you. Like that's just played out. We shouldn't even do that.
We should do something.
We're gonna do something completely different. Yeah. That's gonna not even have its attention on you. It's gonna be completely not even focused on Anderson. Mm-hmm. When it's like we're celebrating your birthday, we're celebrating you in a sense. It's just.
But it's in a different way,
it's
though,
just,
man.
Look, excuse my language. It's just.
It's silly.
It's silly.
There
silly.
we go.
Let me.
But hey, where is the line between dogma and like, okay, where's that line? And where do we cross it, or where do we not cross it?
Yeah, to me, the thing is that if there's a specific time that we've set aside as Christians to celebrate something,
yes,
for you to then try to celebrate this without the actual focal point, it doesn't make sense to me.
I mean, the focal point was in there, I'm assuming, at some point.
No, well, according to this person, it really wasn't. So
I know, I'm aware.
Because, like, usually Easter is like where we come to cheer with the people who already are on the team. That's called practice. Let me stop. I want to go after the people who haven't signed up to play the game yet. I want the person who feels lonely and isolated and like God doesn't care. I want them to see how amazing Jesus actually is and what God actually did for all of us. So I said, we're going to go to the edge on this. And they said, Pastor, how far on the edge are we going to go? I said, we're going to do everything short of sin.
Let's take a closer look at what's causing the controversy.
As we were saying, Dragon, this is what you need to do. Step one, find you a baddie. Okay. But step two, she gotta have a fatty. Hey. Take a look, so, hey. Yeah. Look back at it. Uh-oh. What is she doing? Friends, I don't have a fatty. Girl, we keep telling you it's okay. Your little booty matter too, friend. Y'all know. They don't.
Short of being sinful.
Everything short of being sin is what he said.
I don't know, man. Like, that is wild. Got the worldly songs in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're talking about women's body parts. Mm-hmm. Literally, she points
at her butt.
Yeah. What does that got to do with Jesus, man?
So from what I've heard outside of this, right? This is a skit that's going on. Like, like the you're the one, like where they're pulling the person side to side.
Yeah.
It's like one of those skits, but I guess.
But do you really have to do that in church? Like, is that really?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Could there have been I think that there could have been 2 or 3 different ways that they could have alluded to whatever it was that they were trying to present, where you're not calling attention to.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I've done my let's see. I've done my own fair share of skits in churches, right? Like, it's been cringe. You know, that's just how they are, a little bit at least, right? When you're on your short budget, your low budget.
Yeah, but they
not to that point,
bro. They're like goofy and things like that. But that's just like, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? I don't know, man.
No,
I think
goofy. Then there's that, bro.
I think
goofy,
that this is part of the problem, where it's like we think that God and Jesus are not enough. They're not enough for a church service. They're not enough to get you to accept Christ. It's not enough to get you to participate in church.
Yeah.
We got to bring the world into the church in order for people to come. Then at that point, like, what are we doing?
Well, this has been the debate for the last 20, not the debate, but the last thing for the last 20 years. When you look at the church, you know, privy from the 90s and the early 2000s and, you know, even into the 2010s, you have this whole, what's called the seeker sensitive church, right? Where we're seeking people out. I guess the question that I want to pose to you, right, is even though the intention is to bring the unchurched to the church, you know, do the ends justify the means?
Are you gonna?
Do the ends justify the means?
So,
because that's what that's what the point is out of all of this, right?
This is where people don't quite understand evangelism.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't understand what a church is supposed to be. So the church should be, the Sunday service should be a gathering of the saints, right?
Okay, so you're saying
the church service is gathering of the saints to exalt God. That is the whole purpose.
Okay.
Which means that the focus of the service should be the church, people that are believers, exalting and praising God.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that includes not only songs or forms of worship, but also teaching, right? That's the purpose. Does that mean that we don't have evangelistic points to it? No. Especially when you're starting a new church. Like when you're starting from scratch, where you have 0 quote-unquote members, only a few members.
Yep.
Obviously, your service at the start is going to be more evangelistic, right? Because you're going to be inviting people in. You're going to be catering to that audience so that eventually, right, you have believers that are now within the church and that you can have this service. That is the purpose of the actual.
So what you're saying is that the church should be catering to the body of Christ first,
100%.
not necessarily to the people from the outside coming in.
110%. Now, can the church have an evangelism team where they're going now, or evangelism events?
Yeah.
Yeah. But people also forget, like, evangelism is not just you inviting somebody to church and service. To be honest, that's probably one of the most laziest things that you can do, right? For Ideally, you want to be out there, you yourself, you've been equipped to talk to people about God, to evangelize, to preach to them on your own, so that then you can bring them into the body of Christ.
Man, so you're saying that we can't be lazy with our faith and we actually have to know what we believe in?
Yeah. So, and I think that we've kind of flipped everything on its head, and, we're like, oh, just invite, to be honest, sometimes it's kind of like, oh, just invite, your friends, just invite people to church, And it's gotten to the point where people have taken that and that's all they do.
Yeah.
And that, to be honest, is completely the wrong approach, in my opinion.
Well,
and that's not what we see also in
Acts.
In Acts.